Alright, so I literally just did this video, and there was an issue with the video, so I have to start over and do it here with this boring background. I was using a light, and it just did not go well. There was flickering and stuff. It was a disaster. Anyways. This is the Scaled and Icy review. So, I've been a big fan of 21 Pilots for like a hot minute now, and cue video from 2018.
Trench was released on Friday, and today we're going to decide if it does indeed go hard, as the kids say.
I was literally like 5 years old. Who let me be on the internet? Anyways, this is the follow-up to 2018's Trench. Look at the album art. It's just so, like, appealing. Anyways, we'll set her down. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me show you the actual record before I dive into the album, because, nice. The design is so nice. And look at this. Look at this. Incredible. Ooh, I don't even know where to begin with this album. So, every album that they've put together has been so drastically different than the last. Like, with Trench, which, hold on, there's literally a visual difference, too. There's a difference. I mean, look at how grungy this one is. And then this is like, whee! So, you know, there's a difference. And it's not just visually, too, obviously. We're talking about sonically in terms of production and basically every single other aspect, like visually, aesthetically, in terms of music videos, story, like 21 Pilots is a lot because, you know, there's Tyler and Josh, and Tyler's like, you know, behind a lot of the creatives of this stuff, and he like creates these concept albums that are just freaking wild, and it's like a continuation of the story through Trench. Like the one thing they do have in common between their fifth and sixth album is that lyrically it is kind of from the same like worlds that he's creating, and I'm not gonna get into like the whole 21 Pilots like lore and stuff like that. I'm sure there are other videos on this website that you can find. But Trench had a very, like, positive, like, feel to it. Like, even though it was kind of, like, really dark, lyrically it was very, like, uplifting in a sense. Very, positive, like, outlook, you know? And then, in Scaled and Icy, it's just, like, oof. Man, it's crazy because he was talking about it in an interview he did with Zane Lowe, and it's like, it sounds so happy, like, and then, literally within the first song, he sings about, like, what he imagines, like, the worst things that could ever happen to him are, like, losing his wife, his child, like, yeah, so, like, a lot of these happy sounds are like rooted in like some pretty depressing lyrics, and it's not positive outlook. It does. Let me go back to school. It does not have a positive outlook. It's very negative. It's very hopeless. Trench was definitely an album lyrically full of hope, and this is just like, it's over. You're done. You're done. Like, interesting. It's such a twist. I love it. And, you know, this album wasn't even really, like, planned either, which is part of the fun spontaneousness, that's not a word, but, of it. It was created all in quarantine. Literally, Tyler and Josh were, like, thousands of miles away from each other. And they did it remotely. and it's actually play on like this scaled back and isolated, scaled and icy. It's also not to get into like my crazy like clicky mode, but like just saying. For those of you who don't understand that, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not getting into that right now. But disregarding the story and like kind of like a lot of the small things that make it what it is. In terms of just like the songs themselves and like the album as a whole, it is very interesting. We've got, I mean, sonically, like this is like from Trench, like, you know, totally happy sounding alt pop. I mean, it's kind of funny how they've literally like touched every single genre possible throughout all 6 of their albums. Just like they're just like everywhere. And this one was interesting to see them take that like mainstream alt pop like approach with this and still have that lyrical 21 Pilots connection. But I'm not saying that the production was mainstream or generic at all. While I think it was going for that, they still have such a unique touch on everything. Like, it's very, there really isn't a word for it. It's got just a fun feel to it. Interesting. You notice that throughout all their music, throughout all the weird genres that they try and conquer. But this is only 10 songs. Like, that's not a lot. What did Trench have? 14. And now that's not that much more, but like 14 versus 10, like, when you have less songs like that, it makes it feel more concentrated. It really makes you focus on the songs that are there, you know? There aren't any songs that get glossed over, you know? I feel like once you pass 10 songs or like 11 songs, some songs kind of get lost in there and people kind of focus on what ones they like more and what ones they don't like. For example, like, I love Taylor Swift's Lover front to back, but I know for a fact that many people skip some songs on there and go to the more like radio friendly ones, you know? For some reason, everyone and their mom likes to sleep on It's Nice to Have a Friend by Taylor Swift. I don't know why, because it's a really good song. But when you have that many freaking songs on an album, like, it makes sense that that's going to happen. Which is unfortunate, because it's like, you don't want her to hold back, you know? Anyways, this is a 21 Pilots review, not a Taylor Swift review. I would like to say that Mulberry Street is my favorite. That one is an absolute banger. And, okay, when I saw him on tour in October, he actually did, like, he put that together with Benny and the Jets by Elton John. And tell me why it really feels like those two songs go really well together. Like, he must have, like, had some sort of inspiration from that song. The piano in there is so bouncy, like, it's hard to explain. Also, Choker is another standout one, which is really upsetting that he didn't play that. I'm acting like Josh doesn't exist. Okay, they didn't play that at the show. Like, it was a lead single, and nothing. Like, that was a really good song, and it's like the most 21 Pilots sounding one on there. It sounds like something straight off of Regional at best. Like, whatever. Redecorate is another one of my favorites. But, I mean, they're all really good. I mean, I actually just sat down and listened to this entire album all the way through. And it's like, it's a solid album. I mean, I don't feel like quite as a connection to it as I feel like I should, like I do with Trench and stuff, you know? But it's still good, and I'm still going to listen to it a lot. I just love that the worlds that they create, and, like, not just that, but, like, they really make it easy to get, like, immersed into their music, like really immersed. Like, sometimes I'll be like, am I in it? But yeah, as usual, 21 Pilots managed to do something out of the box, completely different from something else that they've done, and do it successfully. and sell out stadiums still. So it's nice to see that there's, the artist can be successful after so long. I feel like a lot of people worry about, after you've been around so long, you can only do so much. People tend to get sick of you, but no, it's not the case. It's actually quite surprising how they seem to be getting more popular. Like, I mean, after Blurryface, they kind of like blew up and like, were like everywhere. But now it's just like, no, they're still pretty big. I was confused as to why I was struggling to find tickets, and my friend was like, "Well, it's 21 Pilots. What did you expect?" And I was like, "Well, I just didn't think they were that big." Nope, they are. They are definitely that big. And if this is the stadium, it was like an arena, but like if this was the place, I was like right here, like boop, way in the back. It was rough, but I still got to see them. That was super fun. I can't believe I actually got to see them. And while we're talking about this album and stuff, like, their tour and their live shows and their performances go really, like, coordinated, like, hand in hand with these albums and these projects. Like, it's part of the story that they're trying to tell. And I love how there's such a narrative on everything. Like, but, like, it's not direct, like, with some songwriters. Like, for example, I hate to bring up Taylor Swift again, but, like, a lot of her stuff is very direct, excluding her new stuff. But, you know exactly what it's about. She's very good at communicating the feeling and what she wants you to feel and, like, what she was feeling when she writes these songs. And then with 21 Pilots, it's, like, the same kind of idea, but, like, you always can dig deeper and, like, you always are left, like, trying to figure out, like, was there a deeper meaning than that, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, this is a solid album, and I'm really excited that we got to, get this year. I mean, we got so many good pieces of music this year. It was so nice that we just got to hear from everyone. Anyways, also, I heard that, like, they said in, like, an interview, Tyler said in an interview, that the next one would be out sooner than usual, because they take 3 years to do records. Like, oh my god, like, I mean, it's never, I mean, it's fine, because it's, like, sometimes you have to take a long time to work on a real, like, good piece of music, but, like, I'm impatient. One last thing, okay, because we were talking about, like, the whole plot line of the story that they're telling, and in case you don't want to look it up, or don't care, or whatever, what I'm talking about is, throughout Blurryface, Trench, and this album, Skilled and Icy, there's been this story that he's, like, telling, this narrative, that everything ties in together, and there's a lot of, like, hidden messages and stuff. It's a whole thing. It's fun. It really helps you, like, get lost in the sauce. If you know what I mean. This is, like, in Trench, okay, the whole character that he's talking about, Clancy or whatever, that's supposed to be him. Honestly, I kind of lost track at this point. I need to watch some of those videos that I was recommending you watch. But, at the end of this record, it's all about him, like, escaping this, like, horrible place and stuff. And then this is, like, psych, he's still in it. So I don't know whether, like, if we're talking about, like, a timeline or something here, like, if this goes before or after, but, he did say that the next record will be the last one that is all about this, like, story and stuff, but that'll be really interesting to see, because it's, like, they made records that didn't have, like, a storyline, like this, like, Vessel, Regional Best, and they're self-titled, so it's, like, kind of interesting to see what direction it'll take. And I'm glad to see that even though he's had 2 kids, he's, like, not slowing down anytime soon, That's something I always worry about. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have to say. This is a banger album, 10 out of 10. Would give it a listen. If you have Apple Music, listen to it through Dolby Atmos because that will change your life. That also applies to Melodrama. That happened after I did the review, though. Melodrama, and that... Yeah, it's really fun. If you have a way to listen to it, surround music is super fun. Snazzy. Anyways, that's it. That's the review. Alright, goodbye.